بص مش بص شوف بقى الكبيره بتاعي هجيب لك كرسي بتاع بيضه دلوقتي وهبعته لك.
قول لي ايه الموقف ده الكلام ده
شوف كلمتي المفروض انا ما هدولك تاني على بعض. مستعمله يا جماعه انا بشاهدكم. المحاضره اللي قبل كده استعملت. خبر انا بحب بس اكثر.
لا احنا فلاحين وما عندناش كلام.
هو انا حاصل من الوضع دي حتى.
لا وحتى لو تجرب ساعات اي اوامر في حاجه تاني فاتت نقعد تاريخنا تاني.
والله احرجتنا.
لا ما هو في مثل اصلا.
فين الناس اللي لا بيبقى في حد مسؤول ده ليه ده
تعالى كده تعالى بقى نرجع.
يا منى مشينا
واحنا بنجرب كده ونعمل فلاش.
تعالى عبد الرحمن نعمل ده قاعد
عايز السبيل.
مع عبد الرحمن بيقترح ان هو
عايز السبيل. لا 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 ده اديله السبيل ميموري. مش قد الميموري الميموري بايظه. نعمل ايه؟
هو ده طبيعي مع الاولد ايج يعني.
بالظبط. محاضرة واحدة يا رب. محاضرة واحدة. كده يا أسامة بقى عشان قال أنا عايز أخلي كله. وبعدين أنا قالت له
عمال اقول له احنا كنا قاعدين نكمل اجيب الشمال ولا اجيب اليمين طلع اي حاجه مصلحه.
أنا بعمل
مش عايزين نطمن عليك. طب نطمن عليهم غير عندهم شكوى زينا يعني. يلا يا ناصر سمية تعالي اقول ايوه
لا سمية في معاها 3 4 ولا على طول شوية.
حاجة
صباح الخير يا جماعة. It is I'm sorry for the delay for some technical problems, and it is our honor to introduce the Professor George Tadros, Professor of Old Age Psychiatry and Liaison Psychiatry, Dementia in Aspen University, and he is also our visitor professor in this department. Professor Tadros basically is Egyptian British, and it is my pleasure to introduce him as he is the pioneer in new model of liaison psychiatry that is known as rapid assessment and interface discharge, which is established as an academic infrastructure and clinical pathways which are known implemented in 27 departments in the NHS in the UK. He established a new national network that has more than 600 members to spread good clinical practice in liaison psychiatry. His model has been now recommended for the Commission of Liaison Psychiatry and used as the benchmark of good practice by the Faculty of Liaison Psychiatry. He will talk to us today about the mental health in old age, from wisdom to psychosis. So, Professor Tadros.
No, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm really sorry for the delay. I thought we have to sort out the technology, but I'm really sorry. I will promise Dr. Mustafa I will finish half an hour. Is that right? Okay. So now I have more than one challenge. The first challenge was by Noha, when we want to talk with you about psychosis in older people. And then Noha said, what if we start with wisdom? And I think he said, okay, let's do that. Maybe Zamalek was having a bad time and I wasn't concentrating very well, so I agreed. So now I have many challenges. One, finish on time. Second, keep you interested. Third, cover everything we want, talk about wisdom and psychosis as well. And more than that, I cheated a bit in the title. So now I put the title like mental health in older people, sorry for the spelling mistake, and from wisdom to psychosis. I wish I had more time and we didn't have the delay, but because I want to have a debate with you, do we need old age psychiatrists? Do you really need them or not? And I hope we had a good debate, but at least I can stir the ideas in your mind. Let me talk about personality first. What happens? Older people are growing. I'm going to skip the numbers, but all of you know the population is growing. With Professor Shaheen with us in the room, in Egypt, the older population is also growing. The average age is increasing, the numbers is increasing. In the next few years, older population have many problems. And it is our responsibility, the university responsibility, to prepare people for this. What is aging? Is it old age or is it aging? I have Professor Saad Musa with us, and I'm going to say between Saad and our branch, strong link. It's aging. And aging begins from when we are born. And this is the idea. Very quickly, I lost the debate twice in England. I lost the debate twice. I tried to change the name of the faculty of old age psychiatry. I was the vice chair to the faculty of aging psychiatry. We had a debate in the college and I lost it. Then they put a national debate and they chaired it and they lost it again. So that's not going anywhere. Primary aging, this is when the gray hair starts. In my case, that started early. Secondary aging is that when the body starts showing signs of aging, the bones, the metabolism, all these kind of things. I'll show you something very interesting now. So it's a bit dark, if you try to circle your wrists with your thumb and your index finger, can you do that? If your two fingers can reach each other, you're possibly developing some osteoporosis and you're getting a little bit old. If you don't reach each other, you're young. Dr. Shaheen? Tertiary aging is when the brain starts taking back. I'll skip through this very quickly because you know this. So chronological age is how many times the earth goes around the sun, in how many years. All of us don't agree with this. Social aging. I'll do another exercise very quickly because of the time. With the person next to you, ask him or her how old you feel you are. And try to very quickly ask them how old you feel you are. Right? Most of us will feel much younger than our age. What is the threshold age? The age of retirement. In Egypt, I guess the age of retirement is 60. In the UK, it became 65, and then 67. And nowadays, I cannot retire. We open it up, as long as you can carry on. So how you measure aging then? So in the UK, we have young old, that is 65 to 75 roughly. And then we have old, and we have very old people. This lady, what do you think? How old is she? How old socially? How old is she? 20. You might think this is appropriate, you might think it's not appropriate. The same thing happening with old people. If somebody is looking after herself, people say she's a very lovely woman, she's smart. Somebody is saying, oh, she's فاكرة نفسها نخرة وصغيرة. But it depends. The culture has a lot of effect on that. Right. And what happens to our cognition as we are aging? What happens to that?
Gets better.
Gets better. Very good. Thank you, Sam. That gives us hope. Cognition gets affected. And I'm hoping in my original plan to ask how many geriatricians, how many neurologists in the room, gerontologists, all these kind of people can have a debate about it. But the point is, there are many factors that make us age. Guess one of them is what? You wouldn't believe this. Medication. People getting antihypertensive drugs, people getting sleeping tablets, even beta blockers, chemotherapy, statins. What does statin do to us? A lot of good work. What bad work it does? A lot of it. So this is what I'm trying to say. Okay. I'm not going to talk about this because I promised Professor Shaheen an attention time. You remember Erik Erikson? Just look at the last line. The last line, in old age, you get integrity versus despair. Either you look back at your life and you say what? I had success, I had some failure, I had good things, I had bad things. Alhamdulillah, thank God, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm ready to move on. Or you look back and say what? Oh gosh, I made very big mistakes and no time to put them right. And we'll see what happens. And the context here, either you develop wisdom and perspective of life and put it together, or you fall into the despair. If you put that into elder psychiatry, people, the original picture, the original idea is as we grow old, either you become sharper of yourself, your personality becomes sharper, you become harder person, or you become an easier person. That was all what we know. Now there's a lot of research for it. I guess 99% of people in this room are type A personality, right? This is why you're doing medicine and you're doing university work and all these kind of things. The bad news for you is what? Type A personality will have big problem in old age. What am I going to do? What I'm competing with? What I'm going to achieve? My body is not responding to me. My brain is not holding it. Type B personality, more relaxed. But Peck took Erikson's ideas and started developing them a little bit for the older people. So either ego differentiation versus work role occupation. If the way I know myself is I'm Professor so-and-so or I'm a Doctor so-and-so, guess what? When I grow older, what's going to happen to my titles? I retire. I'm not a doctor anymore. If all my life is just about being a doctor or being academic, one day I will lose that. What happens to my personality? Some of us try to develop other titles, like what? Like hag add this, Geddo, Ammo. But it's important as we develop to become ourselves, not our job or our title. Other thing, body transcendence or body preoccupation. When I want to be fit, healthy, I worry about everything. I have patients in England, especially female patients, who come and say, oh, look at my skin, is crinkly now, and I don't like this, I don't like the way I look, and they get depressed. Or you become occupied with your ego, what I am, and I want to achieve lots of things. This is the conflicts you get in old age. Look at this man. Certainly old, but he's very, very preoccupied with what? Body image. Right. What happens in personality in old age? The Chester trial is very nice. And he said there are 5 pathways. 5 ways when you grow older, you can go down them. Because I don't have much time, I was going to ask you which way you think you're going to go through. Just think about it. You have a chance to develop your personality. I have all my professors here in psychotherapy and integrated work can tell you more about this. But I believe you still have a chance. 5 ways. One way is the authentic road. When you are content, you're happy with your life. I met so many lovely people who really, really impress you, despite of everything. But then you have the triumphant road. These are the old people who are prepared to face any troubles, resilient. If I get a stroke, okay, fine. I'll have some weakness, but guess what? I'll cope with it. I'll function. I'll still be independent. I'm developing diabetes. Okay, what do I do that? Take my oral hypoglycemic drug, I do this, I do exercise, I'm going to be resilient. But then you have people who are narrow in their thinking. Life must be like I say. And when they grow older, what happens with them? They become narrower and rigider in their way, and people avoid them. Then you have the mending trend, where you realize you have made so many wrong decisions. Somebody fell out with everybody, told them what they think of them, and then now he's very isolated, very unhappy, because of decisions they have made, and they're still not sure about their identity. The worst one is downward slope, where you hate yourself, you hate people around you, it's just nothing is good in life, what is about life, and your personality becomes in this way. Richard et al. Took this theory and put it in against 5 things. Said your personality in old age will be constructive, you help your family, you try to fit in, the grandchildren, you talk about your experience with them, or you become dependent, the rocking chair. You have some satisfaction, but you want to sit and people bring you water and make the tea for you, the daughters make lunch every day, the granddaughter come and entertain you, and the whole world is just for you. Or you become defensive about what you have done and what you want to do. Or, guess what? And I'm not going to ask you to put your hand up, but put your hand up if you feel you can do that. Some older people become hostile, angry with everybody. Life did not turn up in the way they want, and they become angry. And the last one, they become even hate themselves. And you can see that in the society, you can see it in the films, everything. So intelligence, there are 2 types of intelligence. I'm coming to this for a reason. One type is the fluid intelligence, the wit. And that goes down with age, with the exception for Sam. I'm sure Sam will do very well. And you know why Sam will do very well? Because he does a lot of exercise. That's very important. But the other one is called crystallized intelligence, which is the layers on layers on layers of knowledge you have developed over the years. And that goes up. So you put the 2 together, we are more likely to maintain our intellect, our intelligence, for a very long time. Is that wisdom? What do you think? Is that wisdom? And I have disappointing news for Noha, because the research shows aging does not correlate with wisdom. For the young-looking people in the room, there are more young people have more wisdom than older people, and there are older people who have wisdom than younger people. It's not aging process. Wisdom is about being pragmatic in your answers. Put your ethical, moral integration together with your frontal lobe and make decisions. That's not for older people. So المثل المصري أكبر منك بيوم يعرف أكثر منك بسنة apparently is not true. Otherwise people will know more than us for millions of years. So there's no correlation in wisdom between the two. Right. So the best thing you do, I like this caricature, you plan for what? Plan to go up, grow, go on top of your career. If you're wise enough, plan for your retirement. That's what you need to do. So this is just under 15 minutes on personality, and I'm going to spend another 15-16 minutes talking about psychosis. And as much as we can, please interact with me. I'd like to hear you. And Professor Shaheen will finish on time, I promise. Right. Look at this. This is a real story. And I dealt with this lady. So I called her Lizzie. People who come to England know Lizzie's the queen. That's the nickname for the queen. So Lizzie, we can mock our queen. That's not. I'm not going to prison for that or anything. So Lizzie is a 76-year-old woman. She was a journalist. She's a famous journalist. She lives in Shrewsbury, which is a county outside Birmingham. And then she was seen by another driver driving her car high speed to Birmingham naked in her car. So the other driver just called the police. The police stopped her. She said, what are you stopping me for? She said she's going to interview an MP, Member of Parliament, who died 20 years ago. But he was a famous Member of Parliament who was supposedly going to be the Prime Minister, but he had a sexual scandal with his secretary, and anyway, he died. She said he did not die, he's just in hiding. Said he will come back to be the Prime Minister. And once she finished the interview with him, she's going to marry Richard Branson, and she will own the whole Virgin Airlines. What do you think? So he brought her to the end here. What do you think? What is she suffering from? Come on, guys. We have to accept Professor Shaheen's challenge. We should finish on time. What do you think? Bipolar. What else? Dementia. Good. What else? Late onset psychosis. Good. What else? I love that. Start systematically. So the first thing we start with is what? Delirium. How many geriatricians we have in the room? Put your hand up, please. So good few ones. So delirium. Right? I'm not going to teach you about delirium, but for people who don't know delirium, just remember, pinch me. Pinch me. Delirium caused by pain, by infection, dehydration, constipation, by medication. Alcohol medication causes delirium. And also hypernatremia, electrolyte imbalance. Just remember this. Pinch me. And I'm going to teach you a couple of things only. One is the CAM. Has anybody used the CAM? Our geriatricians? Yes. Use the CAM? Yes. Other people know the CAM? Yes. Right. So this is the CAM scale. So sudden onset, inattention, or disorganized thinking, you diagnose delirium. That's the first step. But a couple of things. This is the vulnerability scale, from low to high. And I'll show some political things in a second. And these are the insults, again, from low to high. From hyponatremia, dehydration, constipation to meningitis. And what happens with old people is this. If the vulnerability is low, you need a high insult. If the vulnerability is high, believe me, only constipation, only dehydration can cause delirium and all these kind of things. Do you remember Angela Merkel last summer when she was shivering in front of the camera? And what did the political media said? They said, oh, she has dehydration, and that's possibly delirium. Do you believe that? How Angela Merkel looks like? Vulnerable, fragile? No. So it can't be dehydration, must be something else. Right. I'll show you this in a second. That's called the RAS scale. Anybody uses the RAS scale? Anybody? Our geriatricians? When you see somebody with delirium, do you treat or you don't treat? Right? See, treat the cause. What about the psychiatric, the agitation? Do you treat it or not? You see this scale? There is minus and this plus. So 0 is just normal. Plus is agitation, aggression, violence. What about the minus? Withdrawn. Which hypodelirium? Which one is more dangerous? The hypodelirium or the hyperdelirium? The hypo one. This is mortality is high. But the point I'm trying to say is, unless the RAS score is between 3 and 4, you don't use any psychiatric medications. Only when it reaches 3 to 4. Before that, please don't use it. Just very quickly to pass, because Professor Ahmad Latif was talking about sharing knowledge. How much benzodiazepine you give in delirium? None. Osama is saying none. This is absolutely true. We used to give delirium benzodiazepine in a small dose. From last year, following a review, we don't give benzodiazepines at all to any patients with delirium. Why is that? Increases mortality, increases falls, increases the length of the delirium. So we don't give benzodiazepines at all. We give haloperidol a little bit, risperidone tiny bit, and I'll show you how to use it. Right. So Lizzie did not have delirium, okay? What's next then? Everything was fine. She did not have delirium. No reasons to treat, nothing to treat. What is next? Is it drug induced? When you say drug induced in the elderly, what are you talking about? Cocaine and hashish and methadone? Do not talk about that at all. Alcohol could be? Hypnotics, benzodiazepines, anticonvulsants. I'm going to shock you. Beta blockers? I have patients with hallucinations because of beta blockers. Right? You have to think about these things. Right. This is what I really want to share with you. Any neurologist in the room? Right, so I can. Professor Magda's here. So in the UK, if somebody above the age of 45 coming with acute psychosis, well, I'll be absolutely negligent if I don't consider limbic encephalitis. And we have so many cases treated like schizophrenia or late onset schizophrenia, turns up to be limbic encephalitis. And limbic encephalitis is two kinds. One related to cancer, paraneoplastic syndrome. The other one is not related to it. And one is the voltage-gated potassium antibodies, and the other was an NMDA. I'm a psychiatrist. Do I look after patients with these conditions? I'm part of the team. I do that. So you have to think of voltage-gated potassium antibodies, NMDA antibodies. MRI scan can help you a lot, but about 20% of the MRI scans will come negative. About 20% of the CSF will come back negative. So we have to order antibodies. Antibodies takes about 6 weeks to come back, while the patient is hallucinating and aggressive.